Welcome to the Future State of Business, presented by Samsung Insights. I'm Andrea Rains from the Samsung Mobile B2B team. Each episode, our head of Mobile B2B, Taher Bebahani, and I will sit down with industry experts to discuss what's next in enterprise, education, healthcare, and more. On this episode, we're joined by David Rabkin, Executive Vice President and General Manager of U.S. Small and Mid-Size Enterprises at American Express. He discusses the biggest challenges facing small businesses during the COVID-19 crisis, some of the ways this crucial sector can come back strong, and how Small Business Saturday might look different this year.
David, good morning to you, and thank you for joining us. It's really a pleasure to reconnect with a dear friend and a prior colleague. So it's an absolute pleasure, and thanks again for giving us your time. I thought, as I said before, we have had the pleasure of speaking with many different industry leaders from different verticals, industry segments. But I think you, where you are, have a very intimate sort of knowledge of what's happening in the business environment, especially with the small businesses, and I was wondering if you could share some of the observations you've had through data and what you've seen in the past, when this whole emergency situation began, and how it's actually evolved in the past few months.
Well, good morning, Taher. Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure. It's great to reconnect with you always, and really excited to be here with you. Happy to jump into that first. I lead a segment called U.S. SME, which really serves on behalf of American Express small and mid-sized businesses throughout the United States. And so, we've kind of had a front row seat to what's been going on. And it's been astonishing to see a couple of things. Number one, of course, the steep decline in business spending in the middle of March was something that I don't think any of us have ever seen before. What I think is really unusual this time, though, was not just the precipitous drop, but the quick rebound, not to the levels pre-COVID, but the very quick rebound over the period of, 6 to 8 weeks of a real big chunk of people's economic activity. While it didn't go back up immediately, we're at a point now where the spend on things that are not travel and entertainment related is really right about where it was pre-COVID, and certainly right about where it was at this time last year. And that's amazing. But we've also been able to see tremendous pivots from the small business sector. And so many of our business customers have started to do things that were, if not entirely different than what they were before, either adjacent or an evolution of their business models. It's really been quite striking, and I've been very, very impressed.
Do you see a share shift in terms of wallet, what they're spending more on, and what they're spending less on as a small business?
Yeah, the first thing, which is relatively straightforward, is they're just not traveling. And so that has been the thing that has been astonishing to watch in numbers. People are literally, they're not flying much at all. They're beginning to fly a little bit again, and we hope that continues. We know the airlines are doing a terrific job of creating a clean and safe product. But we're not seeing those numbers come back as quickly as one would like. Hotels are coming back a little bit more quickly. Dining is actually starting to happen more, although while so many people are working from home, we're not seeing people doing the business entertaining that we would have expected, even at the small business end where that's less of a percentage versus a large company. But we are seeing them investing in things to grow their businesses. And in particular, we're even seeing people, whether it be schools, nonprofits, or even restaurants themselves, who are investing in renovations and construction projects on their own businesses because they feel like they're in it for the long haul.
If I'm a small business, where would I go to get additional funding to grow my business? Or would I go to a bank? Would I come to an American Express? Are there other alternative offers?
People with good histories, and certainly people with cash on hand, are really able to go to many financial institutions, including ours, to tap those effectively lines of working capital. But I would encourage small businesses who are out there to continue to look for the traditional sources of capital that they had before. We do think if you're a small business today, there are a lot of opportunities. And what we also remember very vividly is that in 2008, 2009, which was really much more of a financially driven crisis. The new business formation was at tremendous levels, and some of our most exciting companies around today, certainly in the growing technology space, were founded out of that opportunity. And so we're seeing a lot of people who are looking to create new and different ideas, either on the backs of their existing businesses or new businesses entirely.
No, that's great. Let me go a bit deeper into the area that Samsung worked with on the businesses, which is really providing technology solutions to improve their business operations, to scale and so forth. Have you seen a shift in that category of spending more money on tech?
Yeah, we're seeing the same thing that you are, and we're actually seeing it fairly across the board. And it's really people digging in not just to the hardware and software, but to tools and capabilities. In many cases, tools and capabilities they may have already had, but hadn't used at the level that they're using today. But one fun fact that I love to quote is that right now, 76% of small businesses say they're relying more on digital tools than they ever have before.
Small Business Saturday, it's been incredible for this country and for what it does as a movement. Tell me what's happening this year, given that it's a very different year.
We couldn't be more proud to have been the genesis, but certainly now a participant and hopefully a leader in this Small Business Saturday movement. It's really sort of wonderful to be able to connect with customers in the smaller businesses and to remember that they really are the backbone of our economy and the backbone of employment. So this is now over a decade of Small Business Saturdays, and it really has become a movement. What we found is more and more of our partners, both large and small, joining us in creating offers, not only on Small Business Saturday, but for a shop small period that could extend far beyond that first Saturday post-Thanksgiving. And the thing that I would remind people this year, if you want to help, and I hope that you all do, is that small businesses aren't just the storefront. We love the storefront. They create our neighborhoods. They play an essential role in our communities. But small businesses go far beyond the storefront. And even many of the storefronts that you see in your communities today also have digital presences.
One of our missions is to help the small businesses. We're very much dedicated and focused on it. And I'm really, to be honest, it's really a pleasure to work with your team to see how we can help even more. And hopefully we'll be able to do some things together more concretely in terms of providing technology solutions.
We enjoy working with you as well. And we know that Samsung is like-minded in that support. We feel like this is a great moment for large corporations to take a look at their smaller brethren and say that we all depend on each other.
Well, thank you for your partnership. Thank you for your time.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
You've been listening to The Future State of Business, presented by Samsung Insights. Thanks again to David Rabkin from American Express for joining us. To learn more about Small Business Saturday and the other topics David and Taher discussed, click on the links in the episode description. If you enjoyed the show, please consider subscribing and leaving a review. You can also follow us on Twitter at Samsung Biz USA and on LinkedIn at Samsung Electronics America to find out more about upcoming episodes.